Welcome back to the Black News Network, BNN 247. I'm your host, Brother War Smith. I want to welcome you to another episode of our Good Intentions to let you know what's going on in our world. You know, obesity is a tremendous factor in our communities. And there are reasons behind us being the way we are with food. And today we want to dive into some of the ways we go into our meals. I mean, I love me a good damn plate of chitlins, but I don't eat chitlins anymore. And I'm going on record with that because I have come to learn the whole history behind eating chitlins. And that's something I'm going to discuss today. So welcome to the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA. This is from the desk of the Emissary. I'm your host again, like I said, Brother War Smith-Bey, broadcasting the War Report from a Black point of view. We do not own the rights to the music, but we do own the rights to what we say. First and foremost, I'd like to introduce to you to some and present to others one of my good friends and the co-host of this show, Mr. Claude Foster. Good morning or good evening.
Good afternoon, my brother. As always, we have a very interesting and entertaining discussion today on the show, talking about the dietary habits of the so-called African American. So I look forward to this conversation.
That is some heavy stuff, man. I know it's going to take us some caution somewhere down the line to be nice about what we got to say. But I want to take the gloves off today and just dove into here and let people know that this shit is killing us. And that's basically what it is. It's shortening our lifespan. It's putting us in the hospital earlier. I mean, I've heard Black men having colon cancer at 23 years old. And it's all about what we eat in our dietary, our digestive tract and how our body reacts to certain food. I've also heard that a hamburger patty can hold up to 1,000 different cows. In other words, the meat from 1,000 different cows can be in one hamburger patty. And I love some damn hamburgers. And it makes me curious on how we are getting this food and how we are just consuming it. We get, and I'm going to go through it. Just jump in when you're ready, but I'm going to go through something that I want
to.
A cow lives on the pasture. He eats his grass and he ends up going to the market and they shoot a metal rod down through his skull and kill him right there. And then they hang him up by his feet and they bleed him. They drop his guts, cut him all up in the steaks and every damn thing else you can get from a cow. And then as they're doing all this trimming, there's a lot of scrap meat coming off those cows. And the cows are constantly coming about 5 seconds, 10 seconds apart when this plant is at full operation. So every single cow got scrap that comes off and it goes into one bin. And then on the other hand, it's got prime ribs and prime beef and prime meat that comes off, and they trim it down so it looks exactly like the stores want it to look. It looks good to us. So I go to the store, I want me a porterhouse, I want me a T-bone, I want me a ribeye. They got all that shit prepared for us. And it's just as red on the outside as it want to be. But that cow, or that 1,000 cows that trimmed all that meat, those cows have got problems. They don't just come healthy. I mean, I've seen them bust big ass pus bumps off of the cow's neck and off of the cow's back and side, and drain pus from the cow before they send them to the market. So that pus don't just get to be in a gallon-sized bucket under his skin for nothing. That comes from some type of infection or something that's not quite right inside that cow. So they have to get shots, and they have to get all this other stuff to make them edible to us. And a steak finally makes it to the market. And how long do you think they keep that steak on that damn, under that plastic in that little freezer with no door on it for us to consume it or for us to buy it? But it's dead. It's dead meat that we buy, bring it home, put all this damn seasoning on it. I bet, do you got seasoning in your cabinet? I got shitload of
cabinet full of seasoning.
And you know what the hell I'm doing? You trying to make the meat taste a certain damn way when you know it's already dead. Now you got to make it back, bring it back to life by making it taste the right way, and then you chew it, consume it, and I'm talking beef right now, and then it goes into your stomach, and now your body has to work from that point on. It takes 7 days to digest one steak. So you got a damn 12 ounce, 15 ounce, 20 ounce steak that you just consumed inside your gut. So now your brain's telling your stomach, hey, let's get that shit processed and get it up out of here. So all of their energy from your body now has to focus on that damn steak. That's why you get sleepy. You got to go take a nap now because you full of shit. And your body is focused on your stomach, not on your activities. So once they start to digest that steak, it's going to pull the minimal nutritions out of that steak, which is probably, I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking it's in the 20 to 30% range, the stuff that's healthy for your body. The only thing you got out of that steak that's really good is the taste of it when you consumed it. That's why you ate it, because you like the way it tastes. So now it's digested. There's waste now going through your small intestines. And I think the small intestines are first, then the large intestines, and then it comes out as fecal matter. And so your body has to push it all out. And now if you're not drinking water, you're drinking soda, or you're drinking tea with all that sugar in it, you got a problem moving that waste down through your digestive tract. So it's starting to get harder and harder and harder as it gets closer to the exit point. Now you got to force it out. Now when you forcing it out, it's causing a reaction from your body by the swelling of your anus, which creates hemorrhoids. And those hemorrhoids are basically your body telling you that, damn, man, I'm trying to work with you, but this shit is too hard to be coming through here. So I'm swelling up. I ain't letting shit out. That's ironic, right? Yeah. I ain't letting shit out. So now you cannot process. You got to take laxative. You got to take something to soften it up. You got to do it. Sometimes you even got to do an enema to get that stuff soft enough to pull out. And as people get in their 70s and 80s and 90s, I've heard rumors that they stick their finger inside their anus to help move fecal matter. I've heard of this that people do this kind of stuff. Now, if you have any concerns or any thoughts that you want to add to this show, you can call in at 210-872-2261. 210-872-2261. And let us know what your thoughts are about us and what we eat. So with that, I want to ask my co-host, Mr. Claude, to come in with his corn shucks and something he's talking about, and let us know what his thoughts are about this process.
Well, let me just add to some thoughts to what you just said. First of all, food ain't pretty, but everything you go into in the store and buy is pretty. It's nice and red. It's got the nice color to it. That's not food in its natural state. And then when you look at the expiration dates, what determines the expiration date? If it says eat before on or before this date, what happens when you eat on or after that date? What does all that mean? Does that mean that that some kind of chemical have been injected into the food, and they know that it's going to turn bad after this date here? And what ingredients were put in food? What colorings and stuff were put in food to give it this, appealing look? Because we don't buy food for the taste. We buy food based on how it looks. Oh, that looks good. Oh, that's real green. Or that's real whatever, But that's not the natural state of food. When I was growing up and going to visit my grandparents on the farm, food didn't look like what I buy in the store. Was that food healthier for us because it was in its natural state? Slaves were fed, I call it corn shucks and fatback, for the energy content, because the slaves were workers. But basically, slaves were eating what poor whites ate. That's what poor whites ate. Were we healthier back then? So I hear what you're saying, and I do think that oftentimes when you look at the health conditions that we wind up with in our later years, it's a direct result of the diets that we've been eating throughout our lives. Mm-hmm. And it's all manufactured. It's all manufactured.
So do you think that people in the market of meat, they do different things to make the meat look appealing to us? Like you said something about putting the color red.
Well, the coloration. Food is not the state that we see food in the supermarket wrapped up in the nice, pretty packaging. That's not the natural state of food. Mm-hmm. That's not the natural state of bacon. Mm-hmm. That's not the natural state of sausage. Mm-hmm. That's been kind of like when you get dressed up to go out. Is that the real you, or is that the dressed up you? Mm-hmm. Food is kind of marketed and sold that same way. It ain't so much the health benefits of food; it's the appearance of food. How does that food look?
Mm-hmm. Ain't that something?
Go ahead. I mean, if people go to the dollar store to buy food, that's food that's beyond its expiration date.
Really?
That
food meat that the dollar store sell?
The products at the dollar store and at some Joe V stores, these secondary markets, at some of these secondary markets, food has to be rotated. Okay. If you go to a secondary market other than an HEB, and you go into that market, that you're going to purchase that food is at or near its expiration date. Pay attention next time if you ever go there. It's either at or near its expiration date. People don't eat the food time they get at home.
No.
It sits on the shelf 5, 6, 7 days. So if the food is at or near its expiration date when you buy it, how healthy is that food when you eat it? And the people that it affects the most are people that look like us, disadvantaged people at the bottom of the well who whole life cycle is and everything that they do is based on a cost factor. So they're the ones going to the non-HEB stores, the Joe V's, the dollar stores buying food. So, and then you wonder about the health. These are also the people that can least afford health insurance.
Yeah,
they're eating to survive, and that's and because we're in America, there's a market for that. Go. Like I say, go next time you go to a secondary supermarket or a dollar store. Go to the frozen food section and look at the expiration dates. That ought to be illegal, but it's not.
So you said to me they take let's say they put a steak out and that steak got an expiration date on it, and then that steak, once the expiration date is met, they take that same steak, and make it into like a barbecue item, like they put season on it or something.
No, let me tell
and
you.
then put another expiration date on
No,
it.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you go to HEB on the north side of San Antonio or
Mm-hmm.
in the suburban area that you live in,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have a wide expiration date, a week, 2 weeks, or whatever. I'm saying if you go to a secondary market, hell, if you even go to the market there on the east side, the HEB on the east side, and look at the expiration date of the same items, and they're going to be shorter than the expiration date at a tier one supermarket. And then if you go into the dollar store, the expiration date is going to be closer to the expiration. Same thing with the Joe V's. The expiration date on a lot of their meats is that you buy today, the expiration date may be tomorrow or day after tomorrow. You shouldn't even be eating it.
So would it
And
be
it's
at a
legal.
discounted price or something?
No, it's the same price. Well, Joe V is a discounted store, so it's probably going to be a little bit lesser than what you buy on the north side or in some suburban area.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying that's how the market works today. And I'm saying people the people that we're talking about are at a disadvantage even when it comes to buying healthy foods because the market, because of how the market works. HEB ain't when they pull the close to expiration dates off the shelves in their high quality stores, they're not throwing it in the trash. Why do you think they came up with these off market stores? Why do you think HEB got a Joe V's that are only located in majority minority areas? Where do you think the food
Joe
comes
V.
from?
What is Joe V? I've never heard of that.
Joe V, I call it Joe V is a secondary store. There's some shit that HEB came. Yeah, it's a HEB brand called Joe V's. In Houston, the Joe V's are only in majority minority communities because they won't build a HEB in majority minority communities. And then the HEBs that they got in majority minority communities are substandard, even in San Antonio.
Absolutely.
And them saying that the products in that substandard HEB, if you did a market by market analysis of key items, is going to the expiration dates and a lot of other things are going to be different than at their upscale stores.
Mm-hmm. That is something to contend with because I've fought with HEB on the east side quite a bit about having expired items or deteriorated items like bad lemons and apples.
Where do you think they come from? Their prime stores. They turn at their high freshness at their high quality stores in neighborhoods that they value. They turn that stuff over almost daily. Bread, milk, all that kind of stuff. Because the stuff that comes off the freshness line, that's what goes in those stores. And the stuff that they pull goes to their Joe V brand, go to their Mi Tienda. Y'all got a Mi Tienda in San Antonio?
No.
See, that's what they got in these metropolitan large minority. Mi Tienda is like the Joe V for Hispanics. Joe V is primarily, there are 6 Joe V's, and they're all in the black parts of Houston. They look like a barn. Now, there's one when I was in District K, and that's one of the majority minority districts, we fought Joe V, we fought HEB because they were supposed to build an HEB. So they made some concessions. So if you drove to Houston and I took you to that Joe V, it doesn't look like a barn in the front. It looks more like a regular supermarket, but it's still a Joe V. In fact, we did a tour of the Joe V's and prior to it opening, and I was in there with the congressperson, with the council member. You know, we was touring the store, right? The people that was touring the store was right in front of us, pulling meat from the cooler to take it back in the back because the expiration date had already expired, and they didn't want the politicians to see.
The very day that y'all walking,
the very day,
they in there trying to
hide meat because it's expired. So not only is it the type of food that you get, it's a lot. Your health outcomes are dependent on what kind of supermarkets are in your neighborhood, the quality of the foods that are in your neighborhood. Because, like I said, people don't cook stuff when they take it. If a can of beans say expiration date to 2 days from now, you ain't cooking it 2 days from now. So how unhealthy is that can of beans? How unhealthy is that meat?
That's something. That is something to know about them Juvies over in Houston.
Jovies, Mitiendas.
Huh?
No, Mitiendas.
The
Mitiendas.
yeah,
Jovies. Yeah, those are
substandard HEBs outlets. They're
those are
basically a food outlet.
Yeah.
How many? I don't know if you think that. Do you think many of us are cognizant enough to look at the labels and understand the directions on the labels when we go to the store?
I think
because
most
that's
people,
a lot of information on that label.
There's a lot of information, but I think one of the key pieces of information is whether or not the food is good to eat. The expiration date.
You have to look. I don't think that ain't even part of the label. They'll stick that on the actual container somewhere.
Right, that's on the actual container. But I mean, that's the first. I mean, you don't have to be a food expert or a doctor or anything.
Look for that date, right?
To look for that date. That's the first indicator on whether or not the food is safe to eat. You know, because after that date, you're really eating at your own risk.
One of the things I do when I go to the store, I'm gonna put. I never take the first item on the shelf. In other words, if the shelf got an item in front and 10 items behind it, I'm gonna reach back in the back and try to get number 5, 4, 5, or 6 and look at that one. Because normally what they'll do in most of the stores I've seen, they take all the old shit and put it up front because they assume that all the people gonna walk in there and just grab what they want off the shelf. But if you're thinking about and you're cognizant enough, you gotta look at the stuff behind the first stuff you see on the shelf, because those usually have the shortest expiration date. So reach in the back, even with bread. When you're buying bread, you have to know that the eye level bread is with the shortest expiration date. But if you go down to the bottom and pull the same loaf of bread out and check the 2 dates, you're going to see that the one on the bottom has a longer expiration date.
And consumers really, depending on where you live, where you reside, we take a lot for granted. Like if you're in a suburban area and you got nice quality suburban stores, you can reasonably suspect with almost 100% certainty that the food you get out of there is going to be fresh. You're not going to be sold food with expiration date closed or near expiring. But if you live in a majority minority neighborhood and you shop at a secondary, when you look at the proliferation of dollar stores, all these places sell food. The dollar store, Family Dollar, Top Dollar, all these stores now sell food. And it ain't like back in slavery when black folks ate what poor whites ate.
Well, they didn't eat what the white folks ate. They ate what the white folks didn't eat.
No, their diet basically consisted of the same diet that poor whites ate back then.
Oh, poor whites. Poor whites.
Yeah, not the big house, not them whites.
They didn't eat no chitlins up in the big house.
Probably did. No,
they didn't.
But poor whites.
Why would they didn't eat no chitlins?
But poor whites ate chitlins. Poor whites ate corn shucks and fatback.
But we ate that because we could not get our hands on any other form of nutrition.
No, because we were eating for strength to maintain our ability to work those fields. That's what we was eating. I mean, there was no concern about whether or not the food was healthy. Was it enough to fill you up and keep you strong?
Get you going through the next day.
And get you going through the next day. And part of this discussion, I noticed in your email, you wanted to talk about why we don't sit at the table anymore.
Right.
And eat as a family. And I think here again, our black trajectory has mirrored the white trajectory. Because we mirrored the white trajectory, the white family structure from slavery.
So what are the consequences though of us not having a daily interaction between our families? So if we're a husband and wife and we got 2-3 kids under the age of 15 and they're growing up, we're working every day, and not one day of that week we unified as a family.
Right.
What are the consequences of us not being able to meet as a family and talk about different things that can help the family grow rather than just help each individual going in their own direction?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? I mean, that's a situation that bothered me. I've been bothered by that from the time I could damn understand that the family unit is 20 times stronger than the individual unit. You're not, go ahead.
Name a family TV show that you watch that's got all those components.
I could not name one. But I couldn't name one. But just because there's no show, I'm talking about why when we don't do it, what are our consequences? But I don't know a show that the first thing come to mind is a Cosby Show. I didn't even watch that regular because I want to see us all as Black people bringing our families back to the table and bringing the man and the woman, the husband and the wife, the back to the table at least once a week so you can discuss several things. The family has to sit down so I can understand what's going on in my daughter's life, what's going on in my son's life, the husband and wife meeting so we can discuss how to pay these damn bills as a team, not as an individual, as a team. And that's what's missing in my opinion. I don't see it anymore. We're suffering, our initial suffering for families come from us not interacting anymore. And technology has a key effect on that. Economics got a key effect on that. Family structure, school, peer pressure, all these different things cause us not to want to be like this with our families.
Well, I think there's a lot of factors for that. I mean, right after World War I, World War II, when women came into the workplace, it kind of changed the whole family, diagram, if you will.
Are you blaming it on women?
No, I'm saying that I'm not blaming it on women. I'm saying that women are part of the family.
Yeah, I just.
I mean, right? I mean, I think we talking about Black women.
Yeah, we talking about our folks. Yeah,
because white women are still staying at home, so they haven't. I don't think the consequences has been as severe with the white family structure as it is with the Black family structure. When I go pick up my daughter from school every day, I don't see very few Black women I see picking up their kids. It's white women. That means they're home. Black women are working. So if they're not home, who's preparing that meal? Who's setting the table? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
90% of the women in line when I'm picking up my daughter are white women. Very seldom do I see a Black woman picking up their children.
But they're working, like you said.
Because they got jobs. They're working.
But that's why I said economics affect this, Clark, because right now it takes 2 incomes in a Black family to make a family sustain. Because
does it really?
Yeah, hell yeah, it does. Because you're, as a Black male, a Black man in society today, it is more difficult for you to land that job that's going to pay you the amount of money you need where your wife does not have to work. Now you can adjust your standard of living based on what salary they give you, and then you don't have to, the woman can stay at home, but you're going to bring your standard of living to a level that can afford your salary. That's what I'm saying. But if your salary was contingent with the norm, with what they make, we're like 20, well, what are we, 65, 70% below
Yeah,
what white folks make?
but one thing you're overlooking is
Mm-hmm.
most black folks, especially during the Great Migration period,
Mm-hmm.
most black folks live in the cities.
Mm-hmm.
Look what happened to if you if you left Mississippi and went to Detroit, and you're a woman, you working at the factory, you making 50,000. Your husband, he working at the factory, he making 50,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're both working at the factory. Who's minding the house? Who's minding the kids? But your standard of living is better. But
Family structure is worse.
but your family structure suffers.
Yeah.
So your standard of living, you can buy more gadgets, you can get a nice TV, you got 2 cars.
Mm-hmm.
But what is the price for that?
The destruction of the family. That's the price. You
And
no
what is
longer
it?
have that family unit where you can nurture and
And what
train a
and what
young man or a young woman to grow up to be respectful.
and
What you
what
see
and what
today
and what?
is
But
what
let me
is
say.
the result of that family structure.
But let me say this: where has that family structure broken down and been harmful the most? In our cities, in our big cities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because that's where we had to go. And I mean, I don't know what makes the big city that attractive other than employment, but that's where we
Employment.
had to go. But we got there, and look what we had to eat when we got there. The same shit that we ate on the plantation. And I want to put this out there. At what point in time do we elevate? What point in time do we graduate? Because as a child, you probably I ate candy, you ate candy, but as you got older, you pulled away from eating candy on a regular basis. You get away from that. So you know, as I get older, and you know too, as you get older, these are some of the things that just it's good, you like it, but you know this is not healthy for you. So I'm not eating it anymore. Not on the consistency that I did back then, but
Well, I don't.
same with chitlins. It was good and you didn't know no better and you ate it because that's what was cooked. But you've smelled chitlins when they cook.
Well, I
Why
don't
would
know.
it be
I don't
so
know
easy?
what. I don't know how nutritious government cheese was. Remember government cheese? Them big
Yeah,
blocks of
we
of
had
cheese.
nothing else but yeah, that big ass block of cheese. I love that damn cheese with some
See,
mac and cheese, boy.
but how
But I
healthy?
know that
But
shit
how?
wasn't healthy. Ain't no damn cheese healthy for you though. To me, it ain't. But it's a people love it. But my point is, Claude, why do we still have to eat the damn chitlins? Why do we still have to eat them damn neck bones and them turkey asses and all this other shit? A turkey ain't nothing but a buzzard, a crossbreed between a buzzard and a chicken. You know, why are we eating shit that eat dead shit? We ought to be better than that by now. I mean, as we grow older and we become more knowledgeable, we should know not to still eat the same shit that was mandated, that if we wanted to survive, we had to eat this shit. But now it's not mandated. We make a decent amount of money to go and buy some decent food. Why are we so stuck on shit that's not good for our body? Our bodies are not meant to be eating and digesting this type of material, and that is the reason we end up in the hospital with colon cancer, with polyps getting clipped out your ass. I'm talking about men with fucking cancer of something of the liver, with cirrhosis of the liver, and damn your kidneys going bad. Your nuts shrinking up. You got impotency because of the shit you eat, and the shit is on the damn label. How many times do you like eating fucking hamburgers from McDonald's? I love a damn Big Mac, but look what happened with the Big Macs. I ain't touching that shit. I ain't touched that shit in 20 years because that shit don't deteriorate. how your body gonna make it deteriorate when if you leave it out for a year, it looks just like it did when you bought it? What kind of shit is that? And you love them fries bad as hell. I love them damn McDonald's fries. They putting crack in them damn fries. I'm telling you, fries that shouldn't be in there.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we gonna get around that, because mothers today that work, what do? They pick up kids, and before they go home, they go, "What do y'all want to eat?" "Well, I want McDonald's. I want Burger King.
Yeah.
I want damn Wendy's." And then you got Chick-fil-A coming on the scene with that damn 72 ingredient chicken sandwich.
Yep.
You got Popeye's chicken, which caused people to kill each other in the damn drive-through because they wanted that damn chicken sandwich. The damn Popeye's chicken in Houston ran out, and the person in line went through the window to find out, to be sure that they ran out, because they wanted a chicken sandwich that damn bad.
Yep.
What kind of shit is this, man? These foods that they're preparing for us. Go ahead.
What makes you wonder what's in the chicken, or what's in the sauce? If people are acting that,
You see how they process chickens?
I've seen on TV how they manufacture chickens. Yes. You said process. They manufacture chickens.
They are manufactured. So a biddy, you know what a biddy is? You ever heard of them call it baby chick, a biddy? How long does it take a biddy to grow from a biddy to a processable chicken? And then how do you figure there's a chicken in damn near every restaurant in America?
Yeah.
Ain't a restaurant in America without chicken. Can you name one?
Yeah, because salad. Yeah, there's chicken everywhere. Yeah.
Japanese, everybody got chicken. I mean, that's got to be like 1 billion chickens a day. 1 billion now, not.
Well, but you have to ask yourself. I mean, how long does it take to raise a biddy? I mean, how many hormones do they inject?
They got to put some shit in them chickens. They got to load them up, and then that shit is transferred into us because we love chicken. And this is something I was looking at the other day. Now, if you burn the back of your hand, right? You burn it, and what is going to blister, right? You're going to get a blister. And then that blister is going to fill up with fluids. And then you're going to debate whether you want to drain the fluid or pull the skin off or what. But you're trying to figure out what to do with that blister. But it's full of fluid. So if you took a chicken leg that's raw and you dunked it in the grease, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that chicken leg is going to fry and crust up so you can eat it. And if you think about it, all those those bubbles on that chicken leg, those are pus bumps. But you fried the pus that was in those bumps. Because think about it, same concept, heat, hitting skin, blister. Chicken, heat, hitting chicken leg, blisters. Same shit. Why would it not be blisters on a chicken leg and be blisters on us? It's the same thing. But I'm not only talking chicken legs, I'm talking about anything you want to fry.
Yeah, but that ain't the chicken. But that ain't the chicken you see in the supermarket.
But chicken, I mean, it's gonna blister up wherever you get it from.
Yeah, but that ain't what you buying in the supermarket, though.
What do you mean?
I mean, you don't see that in the supermarket.
Blistered up chicken?
Right.
No, I'm talking about when you cook it at home. You get it from the supermarket raw, bring it home and cook it. It's gonna blister up. That's what that is. But you look at it as well done or good cooked chicken, and the first thing you want to do is just bite into that crunchiness and get that flavor. And you're happy and your body's satisfied because you craving chicken like you're craving crack cocaine or something. And they think chicken is our damn bloodline or something. Every damn day we probably consume more chicken than anybody else, any other culture in the country. That's a lot of damn chicken, Floyd.
Come to think about it, I don't think I've ever seen a white guy at Church's Chicken down. We got a Church's Chicken down a couple blocks down. Every
Now
time I ain't never seen a white person there.
it's
Not
always
at
black.
churches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Always,
churches. Popeyes. Is it Popeyes or churches? Popeyes.
mm.
I ain't
But
never seen
you
a white.
you remember when the sandwich came out though, right? That little burger sandwich for Popeye's chicken. That little sandwich got people killed, and I don't want to see us fall back, stay in that damn category. So I think this course or this class that we're talking about right now is well worth time to dive into all these different things that we're talking about. You feed your child McDonald's French fries and a Happy Meal, uh, let's say 4 days a week. I ain't gonna say 7 days a week. So 4 days a week, you're feeding your child food that's been pumped up with preservatives, that's been that's been designed to make you want more, and you constantly eat this stuff, and you see your child getting big, but you study feeding your child this same food. Why would you continue to feed a child food that's not healthy for them? And you know that shit ain't good for them. Just because it tastes as good as it tastes, that does not mean you need to be feeding your child at McDonald's 3 to 5 times a week. That stuff is killing our children. It's messing with their mentality. It's messing with their body. They're coming up with colon cancer at 25 years old. Those are the things we need to be aware of. And we're causing this because we know better, but we don't do better. Just like we know not to eat no damn chitlins, but we eat them anyway. We know not to keep eating all that leftover bacon and shit. If you saw how they process bacon off the side of a hog, if you saw what a hog eats, hog will eat his own shit. And we still consume this bacon. Oh, that's some good damn bacon. And it is some good damn bacon. And they make it good because they know you'll eat it if it tastes good. But then you get it and you drop it in some vegetable oil. And vegetable oil ain't no damn good either. You got canola oil, vegetable oil, lard, coconut oil. You got all these different oils, peanut oils. And who knows which one is the best one to cook in. But if you frying shit like chicken or damn something else, or pork chops, that shit is not made for human consumption. It was made for survival. And we used it for survival when we were slaves. And because we were slaves and using it for survival, then we learned that we don't need to eat that now. And look at the price of chitlins. I always price chitlins because they want chitlins. Some families want chitlins. Chitlins used to be $6 a freaking 10-pound bucket. And then you throw away half the shit on that 10-pound bucket. Why are you throwing away half, having you get less than 5 pounds of chitlins out of a 10-pound bucket? Why is that? You get that and you study buying it. If it's $10 now a bucket, you're buying it. If it's $20 now a bucket, you're buying it. If it's $30 now a bucket, you're buying it. And you look at this shit and it looks like chitlins, intestines, shit that you get out of the bowels of a hog. The bowels of a hog. You don't need to eat that shit. And if you got to sit there for 5 hours separating the lining of a hog's intestines to get to the part that you want to eat, that's too much damn labor to eat some damn chitlins. All I'm saying is there are so many different things we got to pay attention to. And the worst part about all of this is that we can eat what the hell we want to eat. And every one of these restaurants want to entice us to eat at their restaurant. But in reality, what the food that they're feeding us causes us to go to the doctor. And now we go to the doctor with a major problem. And once we get to the doctor with that major problem, we're now misdiagnosed. We're now mistreated. We're now not given proper medication or proper attention by the doctor. And when all that occurs, we end up still sick and we end up dying early because now we're receiving substandard care at our doctor's office. And we don't seem to get the fucking message. The message is change what you eat. You don't have to eat that shit. You eat it because it tastes good. And if you consistently want to eat this stuff because it tastes good, then you're going to consistently put your body as well as your children's body in harm's way because they are never going to get the attention and the doctor's care that they may need once they go to the hospital. So you and I ought to know better by now that this is something we're not going to do. We're not going to allow them to eat the same way. We're not going to allow them to eat that way. We got to stop our kids from eating stupid foods. You know, I love some Church's chicken. I love some Popeye's chicken. I love chicken, period. But I know better than to eat these fast food places chicken. If I'm going to eat some chicken, I'm going to fry it myself. If I'm going to do anything in that particular arena, I'm going to do it myself because I don't want to put myself or my family in a situation where they can eat this stuff for the rest of their lives and they end up sick because that is what's going to happen. That is what's going to happen. And it's going to happen because we are not paying attention to the stuff we're supposed to eat. And we ought to know better by now. I mean, I can understand our families having to work the way they work. I can understand our families having to do the things they do to survive. And if we have to eat certain things, then by all means, that is what we're going to eat, certain things. But that don't mean we have to sacrifice the health of our children every single day. Nobody wants to cook anymore. Nobody wants to go home and sit down at the table because, oh, that's dorky. We don't do that anymore. What about having instead of just having everybody eat separately, what about having a 1 week, a month time when the family gets back together, learn what each member will be doing or have done. That's something we need to know, something we need to do. There was an incident last week that nobody on the major networks wanted to talk about. Not CNN, not NBC, not CBS. And it was a Sapelo dock crash, a dock collapsing. In Sapelo, Georgia, my co-host hometown, home state, there was a dock in a 99% black community that they celebrate once a year, the Geechees. That's who they were. This dock crashed and 7 people died. Those 7 people ranged from 20 some years old to 90 some years old. There were black people in wheelchairs that fell into the water, and 7 people died. And then I heard the story of one woman saying she was holding on, her uncle was holding on to her, and he was going down. And she said she had to make a choice to get him off of her, or she was going down too. Now that's going to haunt her for the rest of her life. But survival is what it was all about, and she should not feel guilt behind what she had to do to survive. That was a hard decision to make, but that's the decision she made. This was a black woman who survived that Sapelo bridge crashing. That's pretty sad. Now those families that were on the bridge contacted Ben Crump, and now he's their representative, representing lawyer, because it's apparent that the city had refused to do any repairs to that pier, and they had requested it on for years for the city to come out and do some repairs to that dock, and they never did. And now that the dock has collapsed, now the city wants to run out there and act like they doing shit when they ain't doing shit. And see, that brings me back to my hometown, where we got the same damn sorry fucking mayor, Smith. I don't know his first name, but his name is Smith something. He's been in office for the last 8, 10 years, and he won't get his fat ass out the way. He's a fucking drunk. He's the mayor of Inverness, Mississippi. He needs to resign from that position and never, ever again interfere with the growth of a city. He's the reason the city is dying right now. And I've been thinking about this for months. I'm sorry to rant about this ain't got shit to do with the food, but that is what I wanted to say. We've talked about cows, the processing of cows. We've talked about chickens, the processing of chickens, and it's grotesque how they prepare meat for us. And then you go into places like HEB, and you see the chicken is so well displayed. Just think, if a single restaurant had a 6-wing dinner or an 8-wing dinner, an 8-wing platter with 8 chicken wings, that's 4 chickens. And that one restaurant sold 60 of those on a Saturday afternoon or Saturday while open. 4 times, that's 240 chickens a day for one restaurant on just wings. 240 chickens for 20 orders of wings for that day, or how many ever I said earlier. But my point is, there's a lot of chicken floating around here, and nobody gives a fuck about where it's coming from. So all I'm saying is, if you're concerned about what your family or your family members eat, then look at the label, because the label will set you free. Don't pick up the first thing on the shelf. Go in the back, go underneath, get your product from there. And for those of you who like buying meat from Walmart, I highly recommend that you check yourself, because Walmart meat is not always meat. There's something going on with the meat in Walmart. So you need to be really careful if you're buying meat from Walmart. That is such, the meat in Walmart is so iffy sometimes that you don't know what you're going to get when you get home. So be careful with that. Same now, we're buying fruit it's almost winter here in America, and we're buying fruit like it's still spring. This fruit is being shipped in from other countries. Look at the label on that fruit. And those codes on those little labels on that fruit is basically telling you that this could be a GMO item. A GMO item. What do they call it? Government managed organism or some shit. I don't even remember what the hell it was, but it's a GMO item. If you want to know, look up GMO. All I'm saying, my friends, is be careful, because our health is being ruined, not by people shooting us on the street, but by the food we eat. Curb your appetite. Start eating something that's not going to give you uh, uh, hemorrhoids, polyps in your colon, or colon cancer for you men. And many black men nowadays are coming up with this cancer. And they keep telling you, oh, wait till you're 45 to get checked. Do not wait till you get 45, because if you wait till you're 45 and you get checked, your ass gonna be at stage 3 or stage 4 cancer. Now, I had a friend about 5 years ago died from cancer, and he was a big, solid man, and he didn't go to the doctor. So when he finally went to the doctor, they told him he was at stage 4 cancer. And by him being at stage 4 cancer, he's younger than me. He died within 6 months of that notification. Now, if he went to the doctor and asked for a colonoscopy, maybe he would have known he had cancer. And you don't just, they're not going to tell you what you need to do as a black woman or a black man seeking medical attention. They're not going to tell you. If you don't educate yourself on what you need to know when you go to the doctor, that's going to be you. Ain't nobody going to guide you through the medical process unless it's one of us. And if you don't get through that process, you might as well make sure your plot is played up. Make sure you got all of your burial shit in order, because you're going to die a lot sooner than you think. Just because you failed to inform your doctor of what you wanted to do. Ask for these tests. Don't allow yourself not to get tested. Black maternal care. There's a breakdown in what's happening with white women and black women. Black women are 3 times more likely to die from giving birth or just being pregnant. When black women are in the doctor's office, he's not going to prescribe you the shit you need. You go in there for a right elbow problem, he's not going to give you shit for an elbow. He's going to act like you can handle it, go home. But if a white woman went in there with the same shit, they're going to call it a tennis elbow. So he's going to prescribe her all kind of shit. He's going to give her a sash for her arm, or brace for her arm, ointment to put on her arm, and then he's going to schedule a follow-up appointment. So when you go to the doctor and all your shit is done, if they don't ask you to schedule a follow-up appointment, then don't go back there. Just go somewhere else and schedule your appointment, because that office has proven that they do not want to deal with black people. So don't think you can damn code switch and get into these arenas that white women operate in, or that white men operate in for that matter, without a struggle. It's a struggle, my friends. Don't allow yourself to be hoodwinked and bamboozled by these people. Now, I finally figured out from last week's show, I said 666 is not an evil number sequence. 666 is the breakdown of melanin. So melanin consists of 6 neutrons, 6 protons, and 6 electrons. Neutrons, protons, and electrons, 6 each. You put that together, what do you have? You have melanin. That is what they don't want you to know. Anything evil that anything evil that America pushes into your direction, they're doing it because it's got a connection to your success. So read into it. For instance, voodoo. You're so caught up on voodoo being wrong and being the worship of the devil, you won't even explore what it actually is. Voodoo is just like being a Catholic. It's a religion. And it is our religion that came from Africa. We lived on it thousands of years. Why is it so difficult for us to understand in 2024 that this is our heritage, not Christianity? Now, Christianity tried to spread themselves across every part of the world. They had people going on expeditions. 84% of death in women, black women death, 84% of black women dying from cancer is preventable. 84% is preventable. Only if the doctor knew this is what you needed. They might know it, but they're not going to give it to you if you don't tell them to. You got to ask questions, and you got to tell them what you want and what you don't want. Because if you don't do that, then you're going to be in trouble, because they are not going to go out of their way to help you as a black woman or a black man. And there are some prominent black women going to their gynecologist doctor or their overall body doctor, and the doctor not giving them just respect. There was a woman in the hospital about a year ago who used to be a doctor who worked alongside of the doctor that took care of her while she was in the hospital. And her last words were saying that even though I have obtained the status and the position that I've obtained in the United States of America, here I am lying in bed and them not paying attention to what I need. They paying attention to what the doctor said, which he don't know what the fuck he's doing. They need to be paying attention to what I'm saying, and they never did. And she died because the doctors don't pay attention. What is it? Arlene Starman. She's a black lady who died from complications. And all of this is part of the implicit bias that black women experience in hospitals, and so do black men experience this in hospital. Even I went to the hospital one day in this year, stood there at the counter waiting on this damn receptionist to acknowledge me and find out why I'm there. This damn cow ignored me. So now a white man came in behind me, and she was nothing but gums and teeth with him. So I had to get very loud with them and let them know that I've been here for over 2 minutes waiting on your ass, and now he just walks in, you gonna wait on him? What the hell is wrong with you? Oh, Mr. Smith, you know my name now, huh? I'm sorry, I'll go ahead and get you in. So I got processed in, and then sit down. And then the white man got processed in, then sit down. And then again, they called the white man first. I got up and left, and I ain't been back since. I will not be disrespected, and I will not be shown racism. I will not accept racism. They do give you bad treatment, so you have to pay attention. President Carter, President, what's his name? Who is our president now? I ain't Biden. That man so unimportant in this presidential race. I forgot his name. President Joe Biden went to the Indian board in Arizona, and he apologized for the Indian boarding schools that the white folks set up to try and convert the Indians into white people so they could learn how to live like white people. Maybe they didn't give a damn about how to live like white people. They cut their hair, put them in shoes and socks and uniforms, and they had so many kids die. Nearly 1,000 kids died at that school from them training. But we can't be mad with Indians because we know that America gave them their props so they didn't have to give us ours. And they got us basically right where they want us right now, straddling the fence, and they won't give us the time of day. And can you really blame them though? No, you can't, because they know we won't unify. And so that leaves them with an upper hand. Until we unify, we are not going to get anywhere. We have that unsustainable inability to unify. What is the cost of operating as an individual? There's a big cost. We'll cover that next week. Real stories we hear every day based on his story. Not our story, his story. Yeah, I know you got it. His story. His story. The white man's story. That is not our story. That is not our story. There are real stories, according to him, which are draped in lies. And because they're draped in lies, it's to hide the truth. And they have been pretty successful at it. And it's our responsibility to change that. And the only way we can change it is to unify. Don't forget, like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. You can also check us out on Instagram, all these places. And lastly, you can go to our website for merchandise from the Black News Network. So this is another episode number 234. What we eat is killing us. And I can't stress the fact enough, mothers, fathers, keep your kids out of those fast food restaurants because they're not being healthy for you or your child. You know, I know how much I loved McDonald's at one time, Burger King at one time, and then right now everybody loves Whataburger at this time. You have to be smart enough to know that what's happening here in America is not your fault. This is something that has been created, manifested, shined, polished, and a whole lot of other things that went with it. This is the Black News Network. BNN 247. And you can always, when I say always, you can always go to BNN247.org. That is our webpage. And it would be such a pleasure for you to drop us a line in our webpage, or even in this format. You can always come into our private chat and say what you want to say at the time of the broadcast. Just find the button on the private chat and join in. With that, I want to say thank you for listening, and I appreciate your patronage with the Black News Network. So without further ado, I want you to